System solution for the KNX standard. This is our vision and our slogan, and we are Weinzierl. My name is Berker Arthur, and I'm responsible for marketing and sales at this company. Weinzierl was founded in the year 2001. It's located in Burgkirchen an der Alz. It's in the southeast of Bavaria and around about 110 kilometers southeast from Munich. And in this year we have our 20 years anniversary of success. And we are successful since 20 years in development of hardware and software for building automation. We are shareholder for the KNX Association. We are a member of the Innovation Alliance and a member of the Modbus organization. To our products we have software for KNX development, stacks, KNX devices and individual solutions with consulting for our customers. To give you a small overview about our products, we have IP interfaces, USB interfaces, power solutions, push-button systems, I/O systems for switching or dimming, and gateways. I'm sure you know us for a long time, but now we have a new device series, with a new design, with a friendlier installation, a highly integrated construction, for example the KNX IP router with one unit, OLED display for devices with a width of 36 mm, so 2 units, for configuration and diagnosis. And let's start with our KNX USB Interface 312. The installation width is 1 unit. It supports KNX long frames for a faster download. We have an improved user interface for the visualization of communication errors, and its support of BIOS for connecting not KNX devices to KNX via USB. You need it every time, you should have it every time with you. With the compact shape of our KNX USB interface stick 332, it is no problem. It has a low power consumption, a support of KNX long frames, so you have also the faster download with the improved user interface for the visualization of communication errors, and like the other interface, it supports BIOS for connecting non-KNX devices to KNX via USB, so you need it and take it with you. And what you also need is power. Our KNX Power Supply 365. You have an integrated choke, auxiliary output, a rated current of 640 mA, an efficiency of 85%, and this all with a width of 4 units. Also you have 2 buttons and 3 LEDs in multicolor. To get a step better, we have the KNX Power Supply DGS 366. With an integrated choke, auxiliary output, rated current of 640 mA, efficiency of 85%, a width of 4 units and a diagnosis via OLED display and the bus, with additional function for logic and timers. But what are the diagnostic values of our power supply? Voltage, current, maximum current, temperature, temperature maximum, bus load, transmission cyclically or in value change. The alarm function for current minimum, current maximum, the temperature, threshold value settings via ETS, sending the message in case of an alarm, or sending the message in case of alarm and alarm end is possible. The power supply timer and logic function. Up to 16 timers and logic channels, switch on delay, switch off delay, impulse staircase function, AND or XOR and XNOR gates, inverter. And if you think it's enough, no, we go a step wider with the KNX Power Supply USB 367. It's the same model as the KNX Power Supply DGS 366, but with a fully integrated KNX USB interface. The connector is USB micro, connection is visible in the display, and support of KNX long frames. The local download is very fast via the USB connection, and it's supported since ETS 5.5. Our KNX line coupler 650. It's a compact KNX TP line coupler with one unit. It has a filter table for main groups, diagnosis function via the buttons, forward all group addresses and forward all individual addresses, displays all communication errors, telegram errors, NAC, busy and repetitions. The KNX IP Interface 731 was our first KNX IP interface with the width of 18 mm, so one unit. KNX net IP tunneling and up to 5 simultaneous connections. It's powered by the KNX bus and the user interface, display of tunneling connections on the device and display of connection errors. To give you a short view on the physical address, the device address here is the same as with all devices. The additional physical addresses, one for each connection. It must not be the same as your own device address. It must not be used by other devices and is possible since ETS5 visible in the topology view. Look here on the pictures on the right. Our KNX IP interface 732 Secure is the first secure KNX IP interface with one unit. KNX net IP tunneling and up to 5 simultaneous connections. It's also display of tunneling connections on the device and display of communication errors. And our KNX IP router 751 is the first KNX IP router with a width of one unit. KNX net IP tunneling, up to 5 simultaneous connections, KNX IP routing and filter table of main groups, powered by the KNX bus with the user interface, diagnosis function via buttons and display of communication errors. The KNX IP router 752 Secure. This is the first secure KNX IP router with a width of 18 mm, so one unit. It has KNX net IP tunneling, up to 5 simultaneous connection, KNX net IP routing, filter table for main groups, the user interface, diagnosis function via buttons, and display of communication errors. Our Knx IP LineMaster 762. Knx Power Supply with IP router, width of 6 units. So power supply, integrated choke, auxiliary output, 640 mA, efficiency of 85%. An integrated KNX IP router, filter table for main group, IP interface function, 6 connections, and diagnosis via the OLED display, power and communication. So you have all points in our master. So the LineMaster 762. But I've named sometimes the word BIOS. But what is BIOS? The bus access and object server. So bus access is the telegram level and the programming interface for the ETS. The object server is the object level. So universal IP gateway for building automation, a residential gateway, allows a fast integration of non-KNX devices into a KNX network. And what are the application areas for BIOS? Connecting devices to KNX, so sensors, actuators, heating, ventilation, audio, and. The typical use case is here small and medium quantity, so expansion of existing devices. With the ETS product database is available as generic and the individualization is possible. The advantage for you is here the low investment, the rapid development and the certified system software. And so we have for your benefit the KNX IP BIOS 773 and 774. They are the first KNX IP BIOS with one unit. The KNX interface with the object server, up to 5 KNX net IP tunneling connections. The BIOS binary protocol, up to 10 BIOS connections, UDP IP or TCP IP. 250 to 1000 data points. Powered by the KNX bus. User interface, diagnostic function via buttons and display of communication errors. And to make a higher benefit, we have the highlight, the KNX IP Powers 777. It's a universal KNX IP gateway, so a KNX IP interface, integrated web server with a visualization, features richness, flexible configuration on the device via ETS and the web browser, timers, NTP, history, email, and so many functions for you. And have a view on our BIOS web services for web application, for mobile devices with iOS like iPhone, iPad or Android services. It's all based on JavaScript object notations. Public API, application programming interface. The demo is available in KNX IP Powers 777 with a RESTful services and a web visualization. So try it and get it now. Now it's time for our gateways. The KNX Io530 Secure. It's an KNX Ocean gateway with 8 channels, display with multicolor LEDs. Additional 8 channels for logic and timer. Ocean security, over 100 Ocean profiles. True bidirectional actuator with feedback. So new housing design we made. Compact flush mounted housing. Our KNX Io546 Secure. It's an KNX Ocean gateway with 32 channels with an integrated display. Ocean security, over 100 Ocean profiles. It's true bidirectional actuator with a feedback. And we made here a new housing design too in the elegant flush mounted housing. And our gateways, I've mentioned the KNX Io626 and 636 Secure. They have new profiles, new sensor profiles like smoke detector, CO2, VOC sensors, water alarm, and also new actuator profiles with feedback in the channel. And important for you is the easy expansion of KNX installation. The KNX Io bus monitor. Ocean bus monitor. Signal strength. Device ID. Data. Ocean teach in monitor. For profile detection. KNX bus monitor. In or out. CAM object number. Data. KNX Io tool. Bus monitor and configuration. And now it's time for switching. Our KNX Compact Io Series. It's the first Io series from Weinzierl, and like you know it from us, we have the one unit. So uniform operating concept with manual operations, additional logic function, fast download, the power supply via KNX bus, a favorable total cost, device installation, maintenance, especially for residential buildings. KNX Io530 with a 4-volt binary input for 4 switches or 2 rockers. For external voltage 12 to 230 volt. Functions switching, dimming, blinds. Scenes value transmitter, impulse counter. The KNX Io411. It's a 4-volt binary input for 4 switches or for 2 rockers. For dry contacts, function, switching, dimming, blinds. Scene value transmitter, impulse counter S0, so energy meter, wind gauge. The KNX Io510. It's a 2-volt switching actuator with a universal output, staircase function. It's a heating actuator, relay 8A bistable, so over 8A depending on load. The KNX Io511. It's a 1-volt switching actuator like the 510. It has a 2-volt binary input for conversion to KNX, impulse relays with KNX in a zero crossing detection. Relay 8A, so over 8A depending on load. The KNX Io511 for old installation, so the replacement of conventional impulse switches for the conversion to KNX. The factory default switching actuator load circuit, so input 1 push button circuit, input 2 L for zero crossing detection, so conversion without programming, integration in the KNX, visualization and automation. The KNX Io530. It's a one-fold blinds actuator with two-fold binary input with external voltage. So relay outputs mechanically locked. No double power supply possible. Drive blinds to position. Scenes relay 8 ampere. And now it's time for dimming. KNX Compact Io dimming. The KNX Compact Io Series universal operating concept with manual operations. Additional logic and timer function. Scene support, sequencer, staircase function, adjustable dimming curve. Models here, the 530 for universal dimming actuator, the 532 the dimming actuator for LED with relay, the 534 is a 4-fold dimming actuator for LED, RGB or TW, and the 546 is a dimming actuator 1 to 10 voltage with relay. Our KNX Io530. It's a one-fold dimmer with scenes, staircase function, adjustable dimming curve, dimmer output, leading traveling edge, two-fold binary input with external voltage and, for example, for switching. The 532 is a one-fold LED dimmer with PWM. It's a one-fold switching actuator with scenes, staircase function, adjustable dimming curve, dimmer output, 12 to 24 volt, maximum 6 ampere, PWM 600, and relay output 8 ampere. So, for example, for LED power supply and over 8 ampere depending on load. The KNX Io534. It's a 4-fold LED dimmer PWM for RGB or tunable white, scenes, staircase function, adjustable dimming curve and dimmer output 12 to 24 volt, maximum 1.5 ampere each. So PWM 600. The KNX Io546. It is an one-fold 1 to 10 volt dimmer and one-fold switching actuator. Scenes, staircase function, adjustable dimming curve, dimmer output 1 to 10 volt for active electronic ballast, relay output 8 ampere, for example for ballast, and over 8 ampere depending on load. Let me give you now an example for an installation. You see on the picture on the left side a 367, one of our power supplies. On the right side there is a line coupler and so many IOs. And this is an example for a KNX Compact Io for switching, binary input, shutter blinds and dimming. Now our KNX Multi Io570. The universal I/O module for KNX TP, 48 freely configurable I/O channels, the input for switching, dimming, blinds, pulse counter, and output for switching and blinds output. It has also an integrated KNX USB interface, power supply of the peripherals with external 24 volt, the installation with a unit of 4 in the diagnostic and manual operations via device menu. And if you think it was enough, no. We have the KNX IP Multi Io580, the universal I/O model for IP, the KNX IP only device, 48 freely configurable I/O channels, input for switching, dimming, blinds, pulse counter, output switching, blinds output, power supply of the peripherals with external 24 volt, the installation with 6 units, diagnostic and manual via device menu. Let's give me now an example for an installation with the KNX Multi Io, the Io570 or the Io580 like here in the example. It is inspired by the industry automation. But I should say here, the relays are not necessary in normally because they are in every our products. But here are only relays, so they are necessary. The inputs are for dry contacts, switching outputs standard coupling relay, so the Multi Io extension 590, and the shutter outputs with the Multi Io extension 592, the external power of 24 voltage. Here I give you an example for the topology with the KNX IP only. It's only to look on it and I think you know how it works. Also here the KNX IP Multi Io580 in the ETS. The KNX IP and devices in ETS with parameters, group objects, in addition IP settings. I think you know how it look because I think you know our products. Here the ETS topology view with IP. I'm sure you know this too because I'm sure you like our products. The Io extension 590. It is one of the relays which were used before in the example. It's a coupling relay for switching output. Control as monostable. Internal relay B-stable. Saves approx 95% holding current. Relay output 10 ampere. Relay type 16 ampere. And if it's over 10 ampere, it's depending on the load. Easily replacement of relay. If it's defect, you can change it. It's away. Alternatively with tungsten pre-contact and the control voltage of 24 volt. The Io extension 592. This is the other relay from the example. It's a coupling relay for blinds output. Relay electromechanically locked. It's a relay output 6 ampere. Easily replacement for relays like the other. The control voltage of 24 volt unipolar and direction recognition by signal edge. And now, yes, you see it right, the KNX Modbus Gateway 886. Compact Modbus interface with one unit. It's the easy integration of Modbus devices that support the RTU protocol. Configurations via ETS parameters only. Easy mapping and scaling to KNX DPT, the Modbus master or Modbus slave, and up to 250 data points. The KNX DMX Gateway 544, the compact Modbus interface with one unit. Easy integration of DMX 512 devices, configuration via ETS parameters only, DMX master or DMX slave, 64 dimming channels, RGB support, universal mapping to DMX channel. And yes, it was not enough. The highlight, the KNX Modbus TCP Gateway 716. The first Modbus TCP gateway with one unit. Bus powered from KNX, very low power consumption. User interface, diagnosis function via buttons, display of communication errors. Master or slave mode. In master mode, up to 5 slaves. Bidirectional KNX to Modbus and vice versa. Easy mapping of KNX group objects to Modbus registers. Extraction of bits, scaling of values and up to 250 data points. The KNX Modbus TCP Gateway 716. The configuration with ETS, ETS parameter settings, DCA for import and export, KNX Net IP tunneling, programming interface, for example for ETS, and up to 8 simultaneous connections. The KNX TP push button insert 420. The KNX TP push button insert single and double rocker soft press. Support of KNX data security fits into 55mm design frames, so the standard, also usable as push button interfaces. The KNX RF push button insert 440. The KNX RF Ino push button insert for KNX RF and N-Ocean, support of KNX data security and N-Ocean security, single and double rocker with a soft press, fits into 55mm design frames, integrated USB interface with the battery type CR2032. Design: the Match 55 for KNX push button insert 420 and 440 I've mentioned before. Standard design frame 55mm. Single and double rocker. The material plastic or glass. Color white or black. Series Opus Fusion from Jaeger. A short look on the topology with KNX RF. On the left side you see the domain A with some lines. On the right side the domain B with some lines. Then you see some floors and the backbone line. So the TC line coupler and RF TP coupler MC. And so you need the KNX RF TP coupler 672. The KNX RF TP coupler for connecting KNX RF with KNX TP. Compact, flush mounted housing, KNX data security and secure proxy. And now, to come to an end, I want to say a few words about KNX IP security. The goal is to be secure in IP and to stay compatible on TP. KNX IP secure devices have by Weinzierl just one unit, are powered by the KNX bus, KNX IP security, KNX data security. For example, KNX IP Interface 732 Secure and KNX IP Router 752 Secure. And now I want to say to you a big thank you for your time, for your attention, and that you have viewed our video. And now you can visit our homepage www.weinzierl.de or place your order at info@weinzierl.de. Thank you and have a good day.